Education, as a structured process of teaching and learning, has evolved considerably over the centuries. Its origins can be traced back to ancient civilizations, where it began as an informal transmission of knowledge from one generation to the next. In these early societies, education was primarily focused on survival skills, cultural norms, and religious teachings. As civilizations advanced, so too did the concept of education, which became more formalized with the establishment of schools and written materials. In ancient Egypt, for instance, education was closely linked to the priesthood and government service. The scribal schools in Egypt trained young men to become scribes, a prestigious position that required extensive knowledge of hieroglyphics and governance. These schools were among the first to use a curriculum and conduct examinations. Similarly, in ancient China, education was highly valued and tightly controlled by the state. The imperial examination system established during the Sui dynasty, 581–618 AD, was a significant development that linked educational achievement directly to governmental positions. This merit-based system emphasized Confucian texts and continued for centuries, profoundly influencing Chinese society. The Greeks contributed significantly to the evolution of education, particularly through the establishment of philosophical academies in Athens. Plato's Academy, founded around 387 BC, was a pivotal institution that not only provided education but also engaged in philosophical inquiries that shaped Western thinking. Education in Greece aimed at cultivating virtues and preparing citizens for participation in public life. During the Roman era, education became more practical. The Romans adopted elements from Greek education but focused more on rhetoric and law, essential skills for public administration and governance. Quintilian, a renowned Roman educator, emphasized moral education alongside rhetorical skills in his Institutio Oratoria. The Middle Ages saw the rise of universities in Europe. The University of Bologna, founded in 1088, the University of Paris, c. 1150, and Oxford University, c. 1167, were among the first to emerge. These institutions played crucial roles in preserving classical knowledge and advancing new learning under the sponsorship of the Church and later royal patrons. The curriculum at medieval universities typically included the trivium, grammar, rhetoric, logic, and quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, astronomy, which formed the basis for higher education. With the Renaissance came a renewed interest in humanism and classical antiquities, which influenced educational practices significantly. Educators like Erasmus promoted a return to original sources and advocated for an education that was more accessible to people beyond clerical elites. This period also saw an increase in vernacular schools that taught reading and writing in local languages instead of Latin. The Enlightenment further transformed educational paradigms as thinkers like John Locke argued for natural rights that included education as a means towards rational autonomy. Locke's views influenced later educational reformers such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau, whose work Émile or On Education proposed radical ideas about child-centered education. The Industrial Revolution introduced compulsory schooling as governments recognized educated populations could drive economic growth and civic order. In Britain, the Elementary Education Act 1870 marked significant progress by making elementary schooling compulsory for children aged 5 to 10 years old. This legislation reflected broader trends across Europe where states increasingly took responsibility for providing basic education. In the 20th century, global conflicts such as World War I and II had profound impacts on educational systems worldwide. Post-war reconstruction efforts often included significant educational reforms, with aims to democratize access to education regardless of class or gender. Currently reflecting on this historical trajectory reveals how deeply ingrained education is within societal structures, evolving from rudimentary forms of knowledge transfer into complex systems that embody societal values and aspirations over millennia. Its long-term impact remains evident today. Not only does it shape individual lives, but also influences broader socio-economic patterns globally.